السلام عليكم جميعاً. مرحبا، مساء الخير. Good evening everyone. أنا راح أتكلم إن شاء الله بالإنجليزي just to make sure إنه we're all able to understand. My name is Dina Amin. I am CEO of the Visual Arts Commission under the Ministry of Culture. I thought as a relatively young entity, it would be very important to give you a little bit of an overview of who we are and what we do, to situate ourselves within the ecosystem, within the visual arts world of what's happening in Saudi Arabia. We're surrounded by an incredible group of people tonight who are really contributing to this ecosystem, and we're very, very honored to be a part of that. The Ministry of Culture was established in 2019 by Royal Decree. Under the Ministry of Culture, there are 11 cultural commissions, each of which is servicing a cultural sector. Of course, the visual arts is one of them. We are a very young entity as a commission, having really come into existence in the summer of 2020 when I had the great honor of joining my colleagues and to become a part of the Visual Arts Commission and to start to really define the roadmap of what the Visual Arts Commission will do, how that strategy will be defined, and how we can start to drive our engagement and our support for all of the different practitioners that are here in Saudi Arabia. Despite our short history of existence, we are very, very happy to be able to say that we are now at the stage of launching many of our initiatives, and you'll be hearing about quite a few of them in the coming months and weeks. But all of which are, of course, designed to be working towards empowering and providing support to Saudi Arabia's art scene and bringing our initiatives to life in service of each and every one of you and the artistic community of Saudi Arabia. Now, yes, good. But I think we can start the conversation with why. Why visual arts? Why are visual arts important? And they say that visual arts are a mirror of our times. And I honestly do fully believe in this. A nation's art scene is a reflection of its people, their experiences, and their stories, past, present, and future. And we are here as the Visual Arts Commission to celebrate that, to give that a greater ability to reach wider audiences and to support all of those efforts that are in place. And therefore, we fully understand the importance of being representatives of all of the different practitioners in the visual arts sector. We spent a lot of time speaking to many of you to understand your stories, your experiences, and to understand the journeys that you as practitioners have taken in your practices, in order to develop a roadmap that will help us to serve you and the art world in Saudi Arabia in the coming years. We have considered the different timelines that are required to activate many of the things that we hope to activate, the different levels of maturity to many of the that already are in existence, with many of the exciting processes that are already on ground, and to think about each and every one of the different entities that is operating within the visual arts system already in Saudi Arabia, whether private business, whether artist, whether practitioner of other form, non-for-profit entity, and all of the different organizations that are truly doing wonders today. So on the basis of all of these considerations, we have identified a vision and a mission for the Visual Arts Commission. And we will use this vision and mission to serve as the foundation for all that we aspire to do to serve the art community in the coming years. So what does that mean? We, as a Visual Arts Commission, have defined our vision as being a prominent regional visual arts hub that elevates local arts appreciation, provides unparalleled growth opportunity for homegrown talent, and empowers our practitioners internationally with an inclusive national spirit. What does that mean? That means we want to do everything we can to empower you as the practitioner, to understand your needs and to help bring life to all of that, either in partnership with existing entities and other active participants in the ecosystem, or fill the gaps if they need filling, or better understand how we can be a part of your story, to create our story together, of course. But how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by enabling an organic visual arts movement in Saudi Arabia, by supporting community expression, promoting dialogue through varied engagement opportunities, and by acting as a catalyst for a creative, sustainable economy. This mission and this vision are going to inform the roadmap that we will follow to deliver on all that we hope to do as the Visual Arts Commission to service the visual arts community in Saudi Arabia. And in order to go about this and to put practical maybe terms to this, we really again spent a lot of time talking to each and every one of you, and we defined 5 main areas or pillars, we call them pillars, that will form the foundation of everything that we hope to do in the coming years. The next slides will maybe touch upon each of these 5 areas. But before we go into those 5 areas, maybe it will be interesting to understand how did we arrive at these 5 areas. And again, this really is a process that had at the heart of it the practitioner and the needs of the practitioner. So every thought process started with you. Real people experiencing the visual arts world in Saudi Arabia, your stories, your experiences, and how we can help to work with you for a better and brighter future. We spent a lot of time considering your journeys and how these journeys prepare you for the future. What that set of experiences has looked like over your journey, from education to exposure, to experimenting and discovering, to practicing, to communicating, and to engaging, and the need for all of this to coexist in a meaningful way and be sustainable. So, of the 5 areas, this is maybe the first. Knowledge, skills, and access to references as sources of inspiration. Where does this begin? I mean, if we think about an exposure to art, this begins in a very early moment in time. And we would like to really focus on 3 big areas that will help drive this first pillar. First, raising awareness around visual arts from early years and early ages, and encouraging creativity as a way of thinking, problem solving, and of course expression. Very important. Secondly, we want to think about careers and how we can support lifelong learning, the various opportunities that come with that, for emerging and establishing artists and different practitioners, and all of the different programs that can be activated, whether workshops, short courses, different opportunities that allow for professional dialogue and exchange, how we can work together to really elevate the discourse of what's happening in the visual arts world. Thirdly, it's really important that we talk to each other. Visual arts is a language, it's a universal language. How can we make sure this universal language is heard and experienced by all? We want to make sure, as a commission, that we are increasing the opportunities for exchange, increasing the opportunities for dialogue, and for sharing this global language between local and global practitioner, how that debate and creative conversation maybe can create a greater understanding of all that we are, all that we represent, and all that we want to share with the world. So that's number 1. Number 2 is infrastructure. Now, This is, of course, something that we've heard a lot about. We understand that there are challenges. We understand that there are exciting opportunities, and we look forward to working towards finding solutions towards these challenges. We've heard from you that there is a greater need for affordable studio space, for example, that there is a greater need for materials and access to them, quality materials, operational services. We look forward to working with you to finding these solutions and to activating them as months and weeks and years go on. We also understand the need for diverse, active businesses. These businesses are going to support each and every one of us in this universe that we call the visual arts universe, whether we're talking about fine art, transport, and shipping, whether we're talking about fine art handling, whether we're talking about conservators or lighting technicians, or all of the people that have a true and important skill to contribute to giving us a 360-degree engagement with the visual arts. This is very important. But this is, of course, not to say that there are not already efforts on the ground. There are, and they're doing great things. And we want to work celebrating those efforts and to complement those efforts and to really find ways to stitch these efforts together to solve some of these maybe gaps that exist and that we've heard about from each and every one of you. Number 3, every arts community needs a market. Commercial, not everyone, maybe this is sometimes a little bit of a taboo conversation, but commercial engagement is important. Now, how are we going to really celebrate the different efforts that are happening that are going to support artists, galleries, and other art-related businesses? I think these businesses and these different engagements really do a lot to not only nurture artists, but to bring collectors together, to bring patrons together, to really amplify the voice of what's happening in Saudi Arabia in the visual arts. And we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to provide support in this arena, looking at what exists, what opportunities there are for maybe plugging holes or filling gaps for future growth. Again, always thinking about sustainable and organic engagement. Very important. Connecting and engaging with the art world locally and internationally is similarly critical. How can we as a commission make sure that we are thoughtfully and honestly communicating both inside and outside the kingdom to each other, but also regionally and internationally, so that we reach the widest possible audience and help to grow that awareness around the incredible talent that already exists in Saudi Arabia, the incredible talent that has existed for a long time. The visual arts world is not new. It's been here for decades. We want to celebrate that. We want to make sure these voices are heard and their stories are told. And we want to make sure that that art history, the art history of Saudi Arabia, features within the pantheon of a global art history. Ours it's unique, it's special. We are the seat of so much global cultural heritage and history. Let's amplify that. And we very much want to be a part of that process to service the arts community, growing that awareness, that engagement, and that appreciation. Of course, to do this, there are lots of events. And again, I'm not talking about events today because we are very young. There will be some exciting announcements. This is a teaser in the coming weeks, days, and months. Stay tuned, please. But how are we going to do this? This will be through marquee events, public art, different projects that we have, inshallah, coming up around the kingdom that will allow for this exposure, this dialogue, and this engagement. Now, that doesn't mean everything has to be, let's say, run by the commission. We're also looking at community engagement. The community is important. We need to hear from the community. We need to work with the community. We need to allow the community, children, all kinds of different parts of our neighborhoods and our different regions to be a part of this process and to be a part of celebrating the visual arts language of Saudi Arabia. And lastly, and this is very important, sustainability. Sustainability and long-term development. How can we help to make sure that this is not a flash in the pan? We are looking at the long term. We want this to be here for you forever, inshallah. So how do we do this? We need to look at the regulatory framework. We need to look at what is here and what's great and what's amazing. We need to understand maybe what needs a little bit of adjustment and what's missing. And how can we start to slowly but surely work on improving all of these different things so that we can create a brighter, better future for all of the different practitioners, all of the different people that are working within the visual arts system, and all of the different people that will one day also be a part of this arts system. It's not just about today, it's about tomorrow and the day after and the year after and the year after and the decade after and so on. So again, on this front, hopefully there will be some interesting announcements in the coming not too distant future that will be a part of this fifth pillar, let's say. And then lastly, and this is not really a formal point, but I thought I'd share this. This was something that I really enjoyed receiving. In late 2020, when as a commission we had just started to work on our strategy, so this is 1 year ago, literally, we launched a survey, and the survey was shared across different practitioners asking for their input. We wanted to hear not only from people that we were able to reach because we knew them through conversation, but from people we didn't know, to make sure that we heard the voices of as many different parts of this visual arts community that we could hear from. And this survey asked a number of different questions, some technical, some not technical. But one of the questions was to ask for the impressions of the different people that were responding about the visual arts world. And this is a sort of a word cloud, we'll call it, of what those words were. And some of them are obvious, and we're happy to see them there. But some of them I pulled out as being really inspirational to me. Of course, the bigger the word, the more often we heard it. But if you look around in the word cloud, you'll see things like, of course, there are practice-based words like art, drawing, photography, and so on. But alongside those words are hopeful words, words that point to the future, where we're all going together, hand in hand. Culture, new, talent, authenticity, spirit, innovation, ambition, diverse, enable, future, education. And I'm going to end with this last one, soul. And this to me was really a very powerful thing to see. This is the voice of what people are thinking today. And this is what we as a commission want to build on, to be able to serve you as practitioners and serve the entire community, and inshallah take us forward to whatever comes next. Thank you.